This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm Andrew, your guest today.
And today is Tuber Tuesday. Well, what do we do on Tuber Tuesdays?
On Tuber Tuesdays, we usually review a YouTuber that we like. And this week we are going over DWRelive.
Relive, because you're reliving
old
memories.
Oh, I get it, yes. So we actually had him on as a special guest last week. And we decided to surprise him by reviewing his channel this week.
Yeah. So I didn't notice he had this really awesome description, so I'm just going to read it real quick. It says, "Hey everyone, DW here. I've been gaming since the early 90s, and I finally decided to share all of the amazing experiences I have had while doing it. Expect to see videos on mostly retro games, but if there's enough interest, then I will branch out to more modern ones. I try to post once a week and hope that I can introduce you to some of the older games that have inspired the new games that we have today. Try to respond to all feedback left on my videos," which he does do, "and I'm open to constructive criticism. If you watch reviews that are on the channel, you'll notice that we do not have 1 to 10 ranking system. Having a moment that people can connect with, I think, will better serve you an idea of what it will be like to play the game. Every review we do will get a relive moment. I'm looking forward to entertaining you all." And I have to say, I found him very entertaining. As the channel grows, he'll give more power to the community to set rules for the channel, which, by the way, he just got a subreddit created for him. And he's going to make a video to explain how this will work. I'm assuming he's going to use the subreddit, but we'll see.
Yep.
He's got some really entertaining videos, whether you really like old games or not. But he started with his Final Fantasy 3/6 if you live in Japan. And he's done 6 videos since then, with the most recent one done 5 days ago. He's actually picking up subscribers pretty quick because he's only been on this video kick for the last like 2 months, and he's already got 136 subscribers, so he's doing something right.
Share your secrets.
Yeah, exactly. we're gonna ride his coattails straight to the top.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, he said his first video, Final Fantasy 3, he actually captured all the footage for that somewhere around 3 years ago, and he just finally got around to posting it. He told us that in our last podcast, so I'm just going to pull it up so you guys can kind of see what his style looks like. But I 100% recommend checking him out. He's very witty.
I already ate it.
He's extremely witty. He just goes through the video very... how do I describe this? He uses the omnipotent voiceover to do the video game, so you don't see his face, and for the most part, all you're seeing is gameplay with some animations like this crossed out with the 6 there. He just throws overlay animations, like he throws a wizard cap on the Heroes Quest video, and he says he's a magic user, and he describes kind of what's going on the frame, but gives you a backstory, a little history of the game. It's probably the best way to do retro gaming for this old of a game for a review. What was your take on his content, Andrew, since you're the only one coming in blind on this?
Well, I mean, he's the audiobook experience of old retro games. That's the best way I would say it. I mean, he has a good voice for it too, and I mean, I get the vibe that he would be a good like dungeon master for D&D if he's ever dabbled. But yeah, it's not necessarily the style of video I personally like to watch on YouTube, just because I'm not really big on watching a full-on walkthrough of a game. I like to experience those for myself usually, but given the fact that it's mostly old, games that you're reliving the experience of, it works.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe not necessarily something I want to play. So, though everyone says it's a great game, so this is a great way of experiencing it. Is through this format.
Yeah, it's like I said, an audiobook version basically of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, just a little background on DW in general, DWRelive. He said that him and his brother started this channel together, so his brother gives him a lot of ideas for the videos. But he does take requests. Like if you message him on Reddit, he's the same user name as what he's got on here. He does take requests for videos to do. Like I suggested he should do Hexen on the N64, so we might see that come out at some point. That's a game that I myself have tried playing and found it to be extremely difficult to understand what's going on. What? Hold on a second.
I like that animation.
What was that? I want to see this now. What is that on the right side? I don't remember that. I literally just watched this today. I don't remember that being in the video at all. So this game in general, like it was so cool seeing this on his channel, because when I was a kid, both of my sisters played this, not that game, they played Heroes Quest, and they played King's Quest, all the Sierra Entertainment online games, and going over it again it literally was like feeling like I relived those moments when my sisters would play these games, and I just sit there and watch like what is going on, you know, like I didn't really understand it at the time. I was like, I don't know, 5. And they were like in their teens already, so they really understood what was going on, and I had no clue. But they would play these games, and I remember seeing there's a particular scene I remember seeing a lot. I think it was this one, where they're like in the woods, or like then there's the one with the witch. I saw the witch a lot too. Let's see if I can get to it. Oh, this scene, yeah, this one too. So like I just remember all these scenes. I never put it together in my head what was going on in any of these scenes. Oh, he's fighting a bear. But this scene,
like a big ferret.
This is like, because my sisters would be like, "Ooh, try this," and they like type it in, because it was a text parser, so like literally look in the text to see what happens when you type something, which is a very weird mechanic to have, which you definitely wouldn't have nowadays. It would just give you choices like Mass Effect, where it's like select one of 4 choices. But my sisters would just sit at the computer for hours just trying to figure out what they could type in.
Do they still make games like this? Because I feel like this is a lost genre.
It pretty much is. And like I was saying before, he does little ANSI overlays on top of the games. Like that takes time to edit. He spends a lot of time on these videos. I have to imagine he spends hours and hours on these videos. I think he said in a different podcast he was on, because he actually was on a different podcast than ours too. Will, by the way, we weren't the exclusive podcast.
Unacceptable.
And
he signed an agreement.
He told the other guy that he usually spends about 20 hours per video, and only about 4 of it is on background research for these games, which is how he gets all his little tidbits on, like, this happened during the production of the game, the developers did this. Like, for example, on the Loom video, he did a lot of background checks for that game to see why the sequel never came out, and why the game kind of ended on a cliffhanger. And he just kind of goes above and beyond what a normal just playthrough would be. Gives you kind of some background. Like he said that the reason Loom didn't get a sequel, for example, was because LucasArts technically owns it, and at the time the developer was not even remotely interested in continuing with the game series apparently. So yeah. Tuber Tuesday, we recommend you guys check out DWRelive. Do you have anything to add to that, Will?
No, I also recommend it. I don't think Andrew does.
Oh no, it's not that. I think if you like walkthroughs and like a little bit of a history lesson with a good story of something you played once, I think that's a great channel to check out.
And if you want to hear 2 hours of him talking with us,
unrelated to what he does,
right? Unrelated to what he does, but he was featured on our podcast from last Saturday. 2 hours of us reviewing small YouTube channels. I highly recommend you check this video out if you want to see a bunch of content creators that you probably would never see otherwise.
Yeah. And us.
And us. For 2 hours. Give us the watch time.
And do it. Do it.
Oh, man. But as always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm your guest, Andrew.
And we will see you
next CHRILLCAST.